All right. Welcome in, everyone, to another deep dive.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, super excited about this one, especially because this deep dive is brought to you by Safety One Source.
Absolutely.
So you know it's going to be good. And they're your partner. You know that by now in building safer workplaces.
For sure.
And this one is for really everyone. You know, whether you're like a total safety pro or just starting out and kind of want to figure out, this whole world of safety.
Yeah.
You've come to the right place. Today we're going deep, like down to the very bottom.
To the foundation.
To the bedrock, the foundation of, making sure that people are safe at work.
Yeah. And I mean, we're talking about the right of every single worker to be safe on the job.
Totally. And to have a healthy workplace. So to do that, we're going to be looking at one of the most essential parts of construction safety.
Okay.
And that's Section 107 of the Contract Work Hours and Safety Standards Act. Like it's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful.
But it's kind of like the granddaddy, the OG,
yeah.
the foundation of like so many of the safety rules that we, just take for granted.
Totally. The bedrock.
Yeah, the bedrock. So today we're really going to unpack this whole thing and look at how this act, and this is important, how its interpretation under 29 CFR 1926.90A, man.
It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, but it's important, right?
Oh, yeah.
How that mandates safe working conditions for like all sorts of projects, you know, construction, alteration, repair, painting, decorating, all that good stuff.
Yeah, the whole shebang.
The whole shebang. Okay, so Contract Work Hours and Safety Standards Act. Just say that 5 times fast.
I don't even want to try.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But anyway, Section 107, that's what matters here. That was passed way back in 1969.
A while ago.
Yeah. And it said something really simple, but like so important. Like it basically said, hey, if you're doing construction work and you're using federal money, safety, that's got to be part of the deal.
Like built right in.
Built right in, yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Exactly. Like before that, it was a little bit,
Wild Westy.
Yeah, a little bit Wild West, right? Like safety was kind of like, oh yeah, you should probably, think about that.
If you have time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this law comes along and it's like, no. This is a requirement. This is non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. I love that word.
Yeah.
So, okay, but what does ensure worker safety really mean? Like what were they trying to prevent? Like what were the big bad things back then?
Okay, so the main thing is this. The act basically says, right, no contractor, no subcontractor, nobody on these projects can make a worker, a laborer or mechanic work in a place that's just like straight up bad.
Straight up bad.
Yeah, like think unsanitary, think hazardous, think dangerous, any of that.
Like give me like the lowlights reel of pre-safety regulation.
Okay, picture this. You've got guys working in spaces with like zero ventilation, right? The air is thick, you can't breathe.
And then you got people working way up high with like no safety harnesses, no nets, nothing. Just a long drop to the ground.
Yikes.
Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Like there was so much stuff that just wasn't regulated.
And people were just like getting hurt.
All the time, yeah. So this act was a huge step. It was like finally someone saying, hey, workers are human beings. They deserve basic protections.
I love that.
Right.
Like a baseline of human decency.
Exactly.
Okay, but unsanitary, hazardous, danger, those are pretty broad terms, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So who decides where the line is? Who gets to say, okay, this is unsafe, you got to stop?
Okay, so that's where the Secretary of Labor comes in. Like this act basically gives the Secretary the power to say, all right, here are the specific rules, the nitty-gritty details of what safe and healthy actually means on a construction site.
Okay.
And those rules, they get spelled out of the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 29, Part 1926. That's where that whole 29 CFR 1926.1A thing comes from. Yeah. And it's not just like suggestions. These are the real deal, the legally binding guidelines that every contractor and subcontractor has to follow.
So it's not like, the teacher's optional reading list.
No, this is like required reading.
Required reading.
And it's not just for show, right? Like if you're a contractor and you're bidding on a federal project or even a project that falls under this big umbrella of the act, you're not just agreeing to do the work, you're agreeing to keep people safe while you do it.
Right. Like safety is part of the job description.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's not just the main contractor, right? It goes all the way down the line to every subcontractor, everyone working on the site.
Wow.
Yeah. So whether you're, painting a wall or operating a crane, you're covered by these regulations.
So it's not just about the big, flashy, dangerous stuff. It's about everything.
Everything. Because at the end of the day, every worker deserves to go home safe.
100%. Okay, so for everyone listening, right? Like, whether you're the safety manager, you're the one making the rules, or you're just, you're new to all this and you're trying to wrap your head around the whole safety world.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you want them to take away from all this, from this whole legal thing we've been talking about?
All right, here it is. Workplace safety in construction, it's not optional. It's not a suggestion. It's the law. And it's a law that's rooted in this really important piece of legislation, the Contract Work Hours and Safety Standards Act.
Okay.
And this law, it puts the responsibility squarely on the shoulders of contractors and subcontractors. It's like, you're in charge. You got to make sure your workers are safe.
You got to make sure your workers are safe.
Yeah, no two ways about it. And the Secretary of Labor, with all those detailed regulations, they're providing the roadmap, the how-to guide for meeting that obligation.
So it's like, here's the law and here's how to follow it.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So basically it's not just about, checking the boxes. It's about actually creating a culture of safety.
Yeah. And it's a culture that's built on the law, but it's also built on something more, it's built on a genuine care for the people doing the work.
So for all our listeners out there doing the hard work, keeping people safe, think about how far we've come since 1969, right? Like this law, this was a huge deal. It set the stage for all the safety standards we have today.
Totally.
But it makes you think, right? Like, how do we keep pushing forward? How do we make sure that safety isn't just about following the rules, but about going above and beyond, about really, truly, deeply caring about every single worker, every single day?
Yeah, that's the challenge, right? Like, the law gives us a strong foundation, but it's up to all of us to build on that foundation and create a work environment where everyone feels safe, everyone feels valued, and everyone goes home at the end of the day healthy and whole.
I love that. Healthy and whole. That's a great place to end.
Couldn't agree more.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see you next time.